Hi, my name is Jessica Love Jordan, and I'm a DFI fellowship recipient and doctoral student in the Counselor Education and Supervision program at Governor State University. Today, I'm joined by Ms. Angela Johnson, who is a social worker at the Counseling and Wellness Center at GSU. And we're here to talk about the Counseling and Wellness Center as a resource for graduate students that they can access when it comes to managing stress. For those of you who may not know, the Counseling and Wellness Center at Governor State University promotes and advocates for holistic healing, academic and professional achievement by collaborating with campus and community partners and providing services to reduce systemic barriers that often stand in the way of success. The mission of the Counseling and Wellness Center believes in striving for overall wellness education of the GSU community. Ms. Johnson, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'd like to start with hearing a little bit about the work that you do with the Counseling and Wellness Center.
Well, again, my name is Angela Johnson, and I am the social worker for the Counseling and Wellness Center. I came on board at GSU as the social worker for CWC, which is the Counseling and Wellness Center, in January of 2021. And as the social worker, I provide case management services to the student body here at GSU. I am also I have my feet a little bit in several different places within the university. I am also an advisor for the GEAR program. The GEAR program at GSU stands for Gaining Enrichment through Educational Readiness. The GEAR program is designed to provide academic support to students who are first-generational college students, come from low-income backgrounds or underrepresented communities, underrepresented populations. The GEAR program was designed to assist students with past due tuition assistance, laptops, in addition to a gift card to the GSU bookstore to assist with books and materials for school, in addition to a Wi-Fi subsidy. And the GEAR program was put in place through the Office of the Dean of Students as a part of the emergency relief program due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The services provide, again, academic support to students to assist them to proceed with their academic goals so that they can graduate. So that's one of my roles. Also, I am, of course, the social worker for Counseling and Wellness Center, where I provide case management services to students. And in addition, as of August of 2021, I was assigned as the program coordinator of the GSU for You program, which also operates under the Counseling and Wellness Center.
Now that's fantastic. So you wear a lot of hats on campus.
Yes, I do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you for adding that context. So I'd like to ask you a few questions about the focus of today's interview, stress in graduate school. So to start, how would you describe stress?
Well, I would describe stress as the physical, emotional, and mental response that people experience due to various life changes. When I think of stress, I think of external stress that can be caused by environmental issues, environmental stress, in addition to psychological stress and social situations.
Okay. So with that said, what would you say are some of the common stress factors you see with graduate students?
With graduate students, I mostly see in regards to stress, graduate students are often overwhelmed with balancing their class assignments, their class load, in combination with work. Many grad students are employed while they're attending grad school, and several grad students also have families. Many are parenting students. So trying to balance the responsibilities of their family, of their children, of their home, in addition to managing class assignments,
Mhm.
and their full-time employment or part-time employment. That can be incredibly stressful. And another huge stress for graduate students is the financial responsibilities for paying
Mhm.
for grad school and also accessing the financial resources available
Mhm.
to graduate students.
Especially when we consider student loans.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. So with all of these factors, what are some of the common signs and symptoms students can look out for to identify if, they're dealing with high levels of stress?
In terms of high levels of stress, often students will experience kind of like emotional instability where there's some depression, there's some anxiety, that they're experiencing, disruption of sleep, restlessness, fatigue, um, emotional irregularity, just emotional dysregulation, I'm sorry, and irritability. So
Hmm.
those are some signs of stress.
Okay, so those are some things to key into. So then when it comes to stress management, can you talk about how counseling can function as a tool for stress management?
In regards to, and I took notes, so I need to turn the page.
You're fine.
So in regards to the Counseling and Wellness Center, um, many students decide to participate in counseling as it is a safe place. It's a
Mhm.
safe place to unpack baggage. It's a safe place to express yourself. It is a safe place where you can communicate your inner thoughts, your feelings, your frustrations. So
Mhm.
that is a reason why students often participate in counseling. Also, it can assist with managing your thought process.
Mhm.
um, Counselors use motivational interviewing, cognitive behavioral therapy, different therapy modalities to address student stress. And of course, it is all contingent upon what the reason that
Mhm.
the underlying reason for presenting to the Counseling and Wellness Center. Um, yeah.
Okay, I can imagine counseling also being a good place to develop some coping skills for being able to manage stress too.
Yes.
So, what are some of the common misconceptions you see people have about actually seeking counseling?
Well, I would say the most common barrier why people hesitate to seek counseling is the stigma
Mhm.
attached to counseling, attached to participating in therapy. When a staff or faculty may say, well, you know that we have the Counseling and Wellness Center.
Mhm.
Some students say, well, I don't need that because there's nothing wrong with me. I
Uh,
don't have any mental health issues. I don't have psychiatric issues. And that's a reason, that's a barrier why they won't go forward with participating in counseling.
mhm.
And another barrier that I've noticed since I've been here on campus is students have that question of, is my information going to be kept confidential?
Mhm.
I've had students state to me that, but I don't want anybody to know my business. I don't want this to be shared with faculty or other staff.
Mhm.
And so they don't have the knowledge that the Counseling and Wellness Center and all employees are part of the CWC team. We're bound to confidentiality and that their information cannot be shared with anyone else on the university unless the student is a risk to self or a risk to others. Though that's the only grounds where the Counseling and Wellness Center staff will reach out to someone else.
And that's really important to note. So confidentiality is protected unless students are at risk for harming themselves or harming someone else.
Absolutely.
So privacy is important,
Yes,
right?
it is.
So can you tell me a little bit more about the services offered within the Counseling and Wellness Center? I know you talked a little bit about the GEAR program and GSU for You. Are
Mhm.
there other resources students would be able to access?
Well, and focusing solely on the Counseling and Wellness Center, we have our two directors, Dr. Freddie Tong and Dr. Kim Major Ford, who are both clinical counselors. And then we have a part of our team, we have Joy Grange as well as Anita Davis, and
Mhm.
they as well are clinical counselors. So the clinical counselors, they provide the brief counseling model. They provide counseling from a strength-based perspective. And in the event that a student feels that they cannot effectively communicate with their instructors, faculty, the Counseling and Wellness Center can also be of assistance in providing just a letter to instructors, to notify them, of course, with a release of information from the student.
Mhm.
This is per request from the student.
Of course.
That they are participating in counseling at the Counseling and Wellness Center. Just because sometimes students are under a large amount of stress and they're experiencing some issues related to depression and anxiety, which can interrupt their focus,
Mhm.
with following through with class assignments. So when they express that to instructors, they may want support from the Counseling and Wellness Center just to confirm that they are receiving services here.
So there's an advocacy component.
Yes.
That's fantastic. So then what would a student need to do to be able to access the resources with the Counseling and Wellness Center?
Well, all students are welcome to go to our website, the Counseling and Wellness Center website. And I'm going to go here, www.govst.edu/counseling and wellness. Students can go to our website, and the intake documents to participate in counseling are right there accessible on our website. Complete the documents, submit the documents via the website, and then our office manager, Sabrina, she will make contact to schedule the student for the intake process.
Okay. And then is there a cost associated with the services?
There is not. Services through the Counseling and Wellness Center is covered through tuition, through students' tuition.
That's fantastic.
And in addition, we're right here located on campus. We are located in Building A 1120, and so students also can walk in.
That's fantastic. Now, those are all the questions that I have about the Counseling and Wellness Center. As we get ready to close, are there any other stress management practices that you recommend for students to practice?
Well, I'm an advocate for deep breathing exercises. So I too was a graduate student at Governor State University. I obtained my master's degree here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so something that I found to be helpful and I still find helpful today is to practice deep breathing exercises while we're driving. We can take deep breaths in, and slowly release our breath. And that can kind of help to calm anxiety as we're driving. We may be running late, we're rushing. It may be a test that we're, rushing to class to take this exam, or prior to a PowerPoint presentation or a major
Mhm.
project for one of your classes. And that can kind of help to calm that anxiety. Also, I would recommend proper rest to get
Mhm.
sleep. We stay up, we cram, we're studying all night, we're experiencing anxiety related, to exams. So it's important to get proper rest and also to have balanced meals, a healthy diet. Often when um, our plate is full of various responsibilities, we're kind of driving and we'll grab, anything to snack on. And we know some unhealthy foods can aid to us feeling lethargic and fatigued.
Mhm.
So we want a healthy diet as well. Also looking at meditation, looking at yoga and different exercise. Exercise definitely can help with managing our stress level, seeking to develop healthy time management,
Mm,
within our day-to-day schedules. And also, if it applies, faith-based practices are
mhm.
also, you know, they're very helpful. Yeah,
So there are a lot of things that we can do to manage our stress in graduate school. Thank you so much for that.
you're
So
welcome.
just as a reminder to request an appointment with the Counseling and Wellness Center, you can reach them at 708-235-7334 or visit the website at www.govst.edu/counseling center. Thank you again.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.